So we got some crazy news out of Miami. Um, I don't know if you guys seen the press conference that Tyreek Hill did after the game. So he was upset he didn't get 1,000 yards. He's had 1,000 yards the last like 6, 7 seasons, and he was frustrated. And he was telling the media that he doesn't know what he's gonna do from here, but he doesn't want to be in Miami anymore, and that he's out. He's done. He's out. It was nice playing there, but he would like to play somewhere else. Basically, he demanded a trade and quit on the team all in the same day. And I really don't blame him. What the Dolphins did was they gave a bunch of money to Tua, who we know can't stay healthy, when they had Waddle and they had Tyreek Hill. And if you would have had brought in a competent quarterback or brought in Tom Brady, like they said they might have a couple years back, maybe you could have won a Super Bowl or made more noise. Who wants to play with Tua, who's going to be hurt every season, so you don't know who's going to throw to you? And the saddest part for Tyreek Hill is you can tell when you watch the post-game press conference of his, he's upset. He's very upset. He's very emotional in the moment. But he means this. You can tell he's been thinking about this for a long time. This has been the last few years with Tua getting hurt and him not getting the yards, and also seeing the Chiefs keep winning Super Bowls and seeing them have success. And that was his former team, and they moved on and replaced him quite easily. That hurts. He came to Miami. We all know why he came to Miami. For the money. He came for the money. He got the big contract, and he also is not paying taxes in Florida. So, Tyreek, you made your bed. You got to lay in it now, buddy. You decided the money was more important than the winning, and that's okay. That's okay. I would have made the same decision. That 10, 20, 30 extra million you got, hey, that's generational money. Most people don't even see that in their lifetime. So, I understand it. And you have a lot of kids. So, you keep having, 4 or 5 kids a year. You need that money, once football ends. But I don't know what Miami's going to do now that he came out and quit on the team and demanded a trade to the media. All the other teams know, there's some chaos going on. There's some toxicness going on in Miami's locker room. And I know a lot of people want to blame Mike McDaniels. Mike McDaniels is weird. He's a nerd. He doesn't do the locker room well. He's losing control of the team. I don't think that's it. I blame one person or two people. I blame Tua, because Tua always gets hurt, and I think he should have retired after that last hit, because I don't think he'll ever be the same quarterback again. And it's just sad seeing him out there, and it's scary. We think that something's going to happen to him every time we watch him play. And him being a lefty, he just throws it weird, and I just don't feel like it's a good fit. And also the GM. I believe the GM has to go. He's got to be fired, because you spent all this money on this team, when it got Jalen Ramsey, when it got Tyreek Hill, re-signed Jalen Waddle to a big deal, re-signed Tua to a big deal, got Christian Wilkins. I mean, you got all these guys, talented guys, right? And your team's not good. Your team didn't make the playoffs, and you're not good. And Tyreek Hill couldn't even get 1,000 yards. And, this is on the GM. He's made some bad decisions day in and day out down there. Why did you need two, big money receivers? I'm sorry. I love Jalen Waddle. I love Tyreek Hill. But you only needed one of them, because you have to fill out a roster with talent. So instead of that, maybe had signed some more linemen, or maybe, got some more defensive players instead of signing Tyreek or signing Waddle. It was like they thought they were just going to outscore everyone. And we know this is the NFL. That doesn't happen. We've never really seen a team, outscore their opponents and not have a defense and win a championship, a Super Bowl. That doesn't happen. But what Tyreek Hill did, a lot of people, I feel like, he needs to stop. I saw Shannon Sharp say, he needs to stop complaining. He needs to stop crying and whining. He's getting paid all that money to be there. He should be happy. But we all know Shannon's a hypocrite, that he never played with a bad quarterback like that. I mean, he did in Baltimore for 2 years, but he was already old, and, he still got majority of the balls. But for Tyreek, can you imagine going from playing with the best quarterback of this new generation and Patrick Mahomes and having all those highlight plays to going and playing with Tua, who he always underthrows Tyreek. He can't even get the deep ball to him there, So the thing you do best, your quarterback can't even do. And then you're playing, with Mike McDaniels. He's no Andy Reid. And then the Chiefs organization is just a lot more stable than Miami Dolphins. And let's talk about another thing that nobody talks about in Miami. Y'all don't have fans. There's not like a whole lot of Dolphins fans. We see the stadium half filled, and we saw how the Chiefs was, Every game sold out, even in negative weather. The fans are crazy. I know Tyreek misses it, man. He is feeling a lot of regret. You could tell in the interview, those were pent up feelings that he's felt for years now, that he's been keeping in, and that he knows he took that money, but he made the wrong decision. The grass isn't always greener, and he's having to live with it. He's having to live with next year. Maybe he'll have to stay, because how can the Dolphins trade him at this point? Who's going to trade for him at this point with that monster contract? And he's this upcoming year, he'll be 31. That's pretty old for a receiver. And he's coming off a year where he didn't have 1,000 yards. So that kind of messes up the Dolphins. And he came out in the media and said, he won't play for the Dolphins again. He's out. So now other teams know, okay, he's unhappy. He's not going to play for them again. I'm going to offer a 4th-round pick, because they have to move him now. It's not like if he'd have stayed quiet and went and told the owners or the GM, privately, hey, this is what I need to do, I want to get out of here. This just isn't fitting for me. I'm frustrated. Then they could have traded him probably for more. But when you come out and say, you're out, you're frustrated here, you quit on the team, you don't want to play here no more, then that shows to everyone that, this guy's available, and that we don't have to give as much, because now everybody knows he's available and knows he's unhappy. And so we saw timeless times in history, that was hard to say, that when that happens, the teams get nothing basically, or they end up having to release the guy and, take pennies on the dollar. But he's not going to be released in this case. His contract is too big, and he's making way too much money. It'll be interesting what teams, trade for him. Of course, everybody, just go back to the Chiefs. He would have to take a monster pay cut. Or maybe he could if Travis Kelce retires. Then, he could go back in that slot with that, the contracts kind of equal out. But that's not going to happen either. I feel like Travis Kelce might retire, but they're not going to want him back, because they have all these other receivers that are younger, with better contracts, way better contracts than Tyreek Hill. And, so they just also got Hopkins. I know he's super old and kind of past his prime, but they have a lot of receiving options for Patrick Mahomes, and they can always draft another receiver instead of paying, $30 million that Tyreek's making. This is why you can't pay receivers in skill positions a lot of money, because they're a dime a dozen. I've never seen a Super Bowl. You can show me, hopefully, somebody that a Super Bowl where a receiver won the Super Bowl for them, because a receiver can't throw the ball to himself. So that'll always be true, that the receiver can't throw the ball to himself. But I feel bad for Tyreek. I know what it's like to have regret in life, and he's got a lot of regret. He knows that he should have stayed with the Chiefs. He would have multiple championships, and probably in endorsements and fame, he would have made just as much money by taking that discount and staying with the Chiefs than chasing the money in Miami. But you never know. But we'll see how Miami, handles this. We'll see if he gets traded in the offseason. I think he will. I'm not sure where he could go, because his contract's so high. Somebody would have to have a lot of money and no receivers. So that seems like you'd be going to another bad team, which I know that's not what he wants, because he's tired of watching other teams, have success. He was very upset that he didn't get the 1,000 yards, which I understand. The quarterback play this year for the Dolphins was absolutely abysmal. Tua, when he played decent. And the other quarterbacks that they brought in, Huntley and all those other guys, Skylar Thompson, I think he played again this year. They're both just horrible. Huntley's not that bad, but they played horrible in the Dolphins system. And we thought that Mike McDaniels is this offensive genius that can, do anything with any quarterback. But that's not the case. So we'll see what happens. All right, guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe. This one's for Tyreek. Peace out.